hello, everyone. Good evening. Well, actually, it's still morning time for me. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Love Month to all of you. Thank you so much for the people who are going to come here and who are going to join the live. And thank you so much for the people who are going to watch the replay. Today we have the mic. So, as promised, I did share with you guys that I would come live every single week prior to us starting our mentorship program, and that I will discuss a particular topic for everyone, like a particular topic during those weeks. Okay. So for today, this is what I'm doing. I'm wearing a sexy dress. Let me make sure that. So for today, this is what I'm doing, guys. I am coming here today and I want to discuss a particular topic. Now, don't forget, the registration for our mentorship program is currently open. The mentorship program is going to start on March 11th and the session is going to end on April 18th. It is a 6 weeks program where I am going to support you in achieving three of your goals that you have for this year. So when you join the program, automatically you need to have three goals that you feel like you want to work on. And through the programs, we are going to support you into having the proper resources, the proper techniques in order to really achieve those three goals. Okay. Now, in order for us to do that, as you are participating into the coaching and the mentorship program, you are going to be supported via books. You're going to be receiving 4 books. You're going to be receiving 12 articles. You're going to be receiving a deadline calendar. You're going to be receiving a weekly worksheet. And you are also going to have access to 6 hours of private mentoring with myself during those 6 weeks. Don't forget, we also have our yearly membership that is currently open. The yearly membership is only 25 bucks per month. And I believe you get access to 10% off all of our yearly programs. You are going to get access to 15% off our workshop development. You're going to have access to a free coaching and mentor, a free one-on-one coaching with myself. What else are we going to have access? And I think a lot of different perks. So one of the perks that I've decided to add for my members is you guys are now receiving myself live and we are discussing a particular topic. However, once the I start my program, I'm not necessarily going to be available to come here and to discuss certain topics. My members are actually going to have access to videos that is going to be empowering, whether we do it every other month or so. So on top of receiving an article per month, they'll also have access to different videos that I'll work on, and I'll be providing that to my members. So you really want to have if you are interested, if you feel like the work that we are doing over here at the youth agency is empowering, if you want to get more access to everything that we are doing, please join our membership. All you have to do is submit an email, youthAgencyInternational@gmail.com, in order to sign up. Okay, so these are the two announcements that I have. So, what are we going to be discussing for today? Obviously, I have my notes. Now, the topic that I'm going to be discussing is excellent email delivery. It is actually part of our articles, but I've decided that I really wanted to come here and I really wanted to talk about these particular topics because it is so important. The afflux of emails at times that I receive that cringe me is just, oh my God, it gets under my skin. When people are submitting an email to me and the email is either all body or the email is not well prepared. The email is not like, it's just not good. When I started, before I started with my mentorship, I used to discuss this topic on my previous page. But because we are now live with the youth agency, I don't believe that I have this topic here. And I kid you not, I just feel like it just gets under my skin, guys. Like it gets under my skin when people are submitted emails to me and they are just the worst in terms of like the way that it is written, the timing that I'm receiving my email, the way in which the email is being provided is just not there. So for today, we are going to be working on excellent email delivery. First, what is an email? When you are sending a message to someone, you gotta put in your mind that when you are using an email to communicate with someone, you are not using a text. You are not using a chat. You are not using a messenger. An email is more formal. An email is something that you are using to communicate to a boss, an employee, a partner, a co-worker. So the email has got to, the tone of that email has got to represent what you are sending. The email introduces who you are. People are going to judge you and they're going to look at you and feel like, okay, is this an email that I want to read? Because to be quite honest, even with myself these days, once I open the email and I'm scanning through it and it's not giving me anything, I don't read it. I just put it in the trash. You have got to be in the habit of understanding how to write your email, how to put in your subject line, which introduces what you want to do. 2 days ago, I had an emergency. And I reached out to a colleague, I would say colleague, someone that I've worked with in the tech department, and I needed their support. My subject line read important, emergency. And that person replied to me within 2 minutes. I was even surprised that they replied so fast because this is someone who is constantly working. But the urgency, right? The urgency, important. Three exclamation point, important. Automatically that person understands that you need their support. Then as soon as I am writing, I greet the person and I said, I am writing to you in a frenzy. So that I want for the person to understand that I really need your support right now. I'm in a frenzy. Like I'm, anxious, not anxious, but in a frenzy. I need your support right now. You got to be in the habit of knowing how to phrase and how to write a particular email in order for the email to give you the result that you need. What was I looking for the minute that the minute that I sent out my email? I was looking for a reply. I was looking for a reply ASAP because I needed that person's support. So, because I needed their support, I phrased my email in a manner that even if they were at work, even if they had something going on, they understood that it was important. And even when I am doing so, I am not rushing the person, but I'm letting them know that it's actually a matter that is important. So, your email is your way to introduce yourself to someone. Your email is your representation. It introduces you into the room. That's why it is very important to learn how to write a proper email. Are we here? I can't. The email is not a chat. You will never see me use my email as a chat. If you want to chat with someone, if you want to have a more of a convenience conversation with someone, add them online, add them on Messenger, add them on Instagram. Use the tools that you have to add them on WhatsApp to chat with them. You got to remember that people can pull an email any day at any given time and use the email against you or for you. People can look at an email and use that email against you. So you are again for you. So you really have got to be in the habit of knowing and of really understanding how to formally write an email. A lot of the times people don't know how to do it. And if you are going to be a professional person, you have got to be in the habit of knowing those particular things. I say that the proper email must have the right subject line. What is your subject line? Is what you write in the subject. It must have the right subject line. A lot of the time, this is why your email either goes into a spam folder. People are not reading the email, they're not catching the email. It's because the subject line that you have, it's not written properly. It's not introducing what the email has to do. Let's say that you are applying for a particular job. Many times, people who are recruiters, they have it as far as like how to submit your resume. They have it as far as like telling you what to write on the subject line, and you guys are missing that. On that, you guys are not reading. You guys are not taking the time to read through the instruction. If you can't read through an instruction, automatically it gets trashed out. If you can't read through an instruction, automatically it gets trashed out. Are we here? So you have to understand that um, in order to have the right subject line, there must be the correct objective. Your subject line, your subject line writing an email will determine if you will even get your message to be open. Some of the questions that you must ask yourself as you are writing your subject line are: what am I trying to convey? What will my email say? What is the objective of the message? The perfect subject line will definitely differentiate you and also give you the result, which is to open your message, right? I told you 2 days ago I had an emergency. I needed that person to write to me as soon as possible. I kid you not, I was not expecting them to write back to me as soon as they heard my email. But that let me know that I've mastered my email. My subject line was important. That's what I wrote in the subject line. It read important, right? And then I had the exclamation points, letting that person know that what I have to share with you is important. Then, as I began to write, I said, "How are you?" I greeted the person, but then I said to them, "I'm writing to you in a frenzy," meaning that I actually need you, right? So whatever that person was doing, they paused it and wrote back to me instantly. You want the email to give you back the result that you are looking for. What am I looking for? Or am I looking for a reply instantly? Am I looking for a reply in 2 days? Is it an email, but it's not necessarily a very urgent email? Can I wait? What am I looking for when I'm submitting my email to you? You guys have got to be in the habit of writing professional email. Professional email also is almost kind of like you're writing, for those of us who grew up in Haiti, I would say a dissertation or maybe a rédaction, right? Oh, Jesus. As I say this, I'm thinking about someone who is supposedly a peer. They are working in the educational field, but that person, every time they submit an email to me, it's so cringy because it's just a block. There are no separation. There are no line of transition. It's hard to read your email. I start to read it and I get lost. Like I'm looking at a block of a paragraph that you're submitting to me. You're not spacing. Where is your introduction? Where is your body? Where is your conclusion? And then where are you signing? An email automatically gives the impression of your status. An email automatically let your the person who's reading the email, it lets them know if you have the proper etiquettes for whatever you are seeking. It introduces you. If you don't know how to write an email, then it's really bad. I've received emails from people who wanted access to a particular workshop, but I completely directed them into different workshops because the emails was not written properly. You're writing to me, first of all, you're writing to me at a very odd time. You're letting me know that you want to receive a workshop on, going to an interview, a workshop on doing this, but the emails and the approach that you are having is bad. You're not going to get an interview. I have to teach you how to write first. We got to go back to the basics because your email is sent at the wrong time to me. The subject line is not written properly, and you don't have anybody, you just don't know how to write. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2025. The Youth Agency is an entrepreneurial platform. However, it's there to support people who want to evolve and not only into their creativity, but into their professional life. You do not get anywhere in this life if you do not have the basics. That is why you are not succeeding. It's not because your products are not good. It's not because you're not a good employee, but it's because you don't have the basics. It's because you don't know how to read a room. It's because you don't know how to submit the proper email. You don't know when to write the proper email. You don't know at what time to be sending those emails. Timing. Why are you writing to people at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.? Unless the email that you are sending, it's a project that you are working on with someone, and the person has an understanding that the times in which we are going to be working are going to be after hours. Maybe the both of you have a 9 to 5, maybe the both of you have commitments during the days, and it's a lot better to communicate after hours, after 6 or 7 p.m. Then you do not write to someone in those times. You do not write and send out any emails unless it's an emergency, unless you are writing to your doctor, unless you are writing to, an employer, but they have the understanding that you are actually going to submit that email at that particular time. If it is not so, any email has got to be sent between the hours of 9 a.m. and preferably 6 p.m. if you are communicating with someone. Now, I work a lot in the creative field, and at times I work with people who have a 9 to 5. At times I work with people who have a working job. At times I work with people who are family oriented, like they have family. So I have to be very strategic and understanding when am I going to communicate with these people. Now, the first thing that I do is when you are dealing with people who have a different style of life that if you are the person who are in need, like you need their services, you need for them to participate into something that you're doing, you need to communicate with them. It is important for you to ask that person, what is the best style of communication? Where can I join you? Everybody does not communicate it the best. I am very good at replying to my email as soon as they come. If you send me an email, preferably, I'm going to reply in the next 5 minutes, right? You can call me from sun up to sundown. You are not going to be receiving me. I do not speak on the telephone. Unless you schedule a call, you're not going to have access to me via phone call. My email is my number one method. Now, once you email me, and depending on the email that you have, then I may decide to communicate with you in another format. But for myself, I prefer to communicate via email. However, when I'm working on a project with someone, I ask them what is the best way, the best methods of communication. Sometimes it's easier to sit on Instagram and send out voices. Some people are better with WhatsApp. Some people check their online and they are always online and they are good. They are going to tell you that, hey, communicate with me via Instagram. Some people are not on social media. So here you are, you're sitting there writing to the person on social media, left and right. You're sending the message to the person barely checks their social media. It may be that they come on social media only during the weekend. That's when they have the time and briefly. So they don't have the time to really sit there and listen to everything that you're saying. Some people are very active on Messenger, on WhatsApp message. So it's easier for you to communicate with them then. You got to understand that every tools that you have access to is there for a particular reason, but you have to be in the habit of knowing how to utilize them. You do not send an email to someone at odd hours of the day or of the night. Even with me, when it comes to my WhatsApp, I have been so, hey, even with me, when it comes to my WhatsApp, I have been so angry at times at people. Now, thankfully, my telephone is always turned off by 9 p.m. The phone that I use that have all my app, it turns off by 9 p.m. Right? How are you, my love? When people are sitting there and when you turn the phone back on and you realize that someone has sent you a message at 3 o'clock in the morning, I really get like puzzled. Why would you send me why would you, is it an emergency? Why would you send me a voice message at 3 o'clock in the morning? I have received, it's like, is it the only time that you have to send someone a message? To me, that's disrespectful. I'm not gonna write to someone. I don't even write to someone past 9 p.m. I don't, unless, like I said to you before, it's great to have you here. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Han. So good to see you. So I don't even have the time, to do that. So it kind of like it makes me, I don't get it. Like, why are you writing to someone at 2 o'clock in the morning, at 3 o'clock in the morning? And guys, as we are really maturing, if you start to do those things, it's going to take you out of the habits of doing what you're not supposed to be doing. Because a lot of the things that I'm writing now, that I'm teaching, is because I literally have implemented that. I've implemented those things into my life. Like, you cannot have access to me at any given day or at any given time whenever you feel like it. I have a lot of discipline into the work that I do. And it's really important for you to start to have those discipline, because if you do not have those discipline, then you cannot implement these things. And this is why you are sending emails as if you're sending an email to someone and you are asking them to be a part of a program or to do this, but you don't know how to write the email. I believe that I've raged already about this young lady that communicated with me over the summertime when it came to participating into the summer accelerator program. And I fell in love with that young girl. I believe she was only 14. She wrote to me one of those emails that this is a young girl that I have worked with people who are older than me and who cannot write an email like this. It was just like the email. This is the type of an email that you receive and automatically you say to the person, yes, you can participate into anything that I'm doing, because it is so well written, it is polished, it is, whew, like your email, ladies and gentlemen, your email introduces you. You have got to be in the habit of understanding and of knowing how to write the proper email, how to phrase your email. You cannot send a block out to someone. Your email still needs greetings. My name is such and such. I'm writing to you for such and such. And then you skip a line, you do your transition line, and then you talk. And then if you have to have a second paragraph, you go to a second paragraph and then my regards, you sign your name off and you do this. Direct. I also was telling people, in my consulting page that I am going to start be to become very selective when it comes to my consulting, as far as like who I am going to work with and who I am going to allow to communicate with me. Why? Because your email introduces you. If even if someone wants to become a client and the person doesn't know how to write an email, doesn't know how to communicate with you, it automatically lets you in on the type of clientele that you're going to be receiving. Now it's up to you to understand if you want to proceed with that individual or if you cannot proceed with that individual. If you know that the work that you are providing, there is a certain level in terms of like education, in terms of like etiquette that the person needs to have, then you really need to be honest with yourself and to let that and to understand that this is not a client that you want to work with. And that's okay. Because who has the time these days to constantly, work with people that are not there at the level that you are? And this is why participating into the coaching and the mentorship program will sharpen you up. This is the type of a program that you really want to be a part of if you know that you are lacking certain skill set. If you know that you don't know how to write a proper email, if you know that you don't know how to transmute certain things, this is the program for you. Now, I say that timing is actually the number one factor that you must look into consideration when writing your email. When do you actually send off your email? First, you must identify the objective of that mail. Are you sending the email to a friend, an associate, a business partner, a colleague, a subordinate? What type of email are you sending? There are various types of email. If applying for a work opportunity, depending on the work that you are applying for, the early days of the work of the week are usually the best time to send off your message. Here are a few keys factors when determining the timing, when determining the timing of your email. The perfect email must always be sent between the hours of 10 a.m. and I put 3 p.m. Unless this is a person that you have access to. If sending the message for work purposes, the early days of the week are more appropriate, Monday through Thursday. Why? If you are working, you know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're there, we're working. But once it starts to go Thursday, people are looking at their weekend. They're looking at the plan that they have. Their mind is already checked out from that place. They're not really paying attention and so emails that are coming in, unless it's an emergency, unless it's a project that they're working on, their mind is checked out. So if you are working on a particular project, if you're writing to a colleague, if you're writing to your boss, if you want to partner with someone, if you have a business and you're looking for a partnership, you got to be in the habit of writing to people. And during the week, Monday through Thursday, preferably. I put 10 to 3, but you could put from 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. Why? Afternoon, people are going home. They're tired. People are not checking for email. They want to relax. They want to kick back. They want to put their feet up, right? When you start to write to people and start to sending professional email cannot be sent after noon. Or if it's a project that is outside, for example, when I do my conversation series, correct? I work a lot with people that have work, they have families. So when do I communicate with these people? I don't communicate with them during the morning because I know that they are at work. I know that they have work going on. I know that sometimes also you build a certain relationship with that person and that person is able to tell you when is best. Sometimes I work with people that in the weekend they have to take their kids to activities, but still I communicate in the afternoon, right? I know that these people, some of these people, they are online on Instagram 6, 7, 8 p.m. So I'll send my message around that time. I'll send them a little voice around that time. So the person has the time to write to listen to you It's more of a creative project. It may be a side project that you are doing. The person is interested. The person can reply to you on the afternoon, because it's kind of like my work is more creative. You are working. I'm not in the morning. You probably sitting there like replying to email, being focused. So and also around that time, I'm more laid back. Sometimes I talk to people. It's like it's evening, both of us are drinking wine. We're drinking wine, kiki and kage, is because it's the vibe. I want you to feel relaxed when I'm working on my creative projects. And a lot of people will get always like, wow, how could you get so many people to work with you? Because I know how to approach people. I know how to give people ample time. I understand that I work in a creative field. I am a solo entrepreneur. I create and design my own work schedule, but everybody doesn't have that. And I respect that. You got to learn how to respect what people have going on. Emails are professionals. I'm only communicating with emails. For example, for the conversation series, I communicate via emails when I'm submitting my questions to my guests. Otherwise, oh, I ask for WhatsApp numbers and I communicate via WhatsApp, because sometimes it may be that as we are working, or via Instagram, as we are working, I'm putting out the college. I need to submit this to you. I don't need for it to be so proper. I don't need for it to be so rigid. I want you to feel a little bit more relaxed. We're getting to know each other. We're going back and forth between our messages. Do you get it? So it's very important for you to understand how to write an excellent email delivery and how to utilize your emails. I am going to go crazy after this if anybody writes a bad email to me or they don't know how to write an email, because I'm telling you, I said you have to talk about this, because some of those emails that I've been receiving, they're not good. And to be quite honest, I am very impressed at some of the young adults and young people of my country, because when they are writing to me, the majority of them, they know how to write. So that lets me know that a lot of the youth of my country, they do a very good job. It baffles me that a lot of the time it be foreigners or people that are not even in Haiti. But I think that it comes from the fact that our school system here in Haiti are still very good. So they teach the proper etiquette. Plus, those of us who grew up in Haiti, we know how to write properly a dissertation. We know how to write properly a redaction. So even if you did not go further with college, you know how to write your subject and how to communicate. So I'm proud of that. Okay. So I say that if you are trying to collaborate with someone, the person doing the person, thank you, the person doing the invite must be aware of the individual scheduling, must do your research and find out what that individual has going on. We just talked about that. Always allow the ample time and always find the right way of communication. Perhaps connecting on social media before actually sending the email. Like this, that person is expecting your email and will keep an eye. Never send an email never send an after email to anyone that you have not been in contact with. I can guarantee that your message won't be even looked at. A lot of the times you want to work with people, you want to communicate with people, and you're saying, oh, I wrote to you, you did not write back to me. When did you write? How did you write? Are you understanding that some people email is not the best formatting for them? There are people that, because of the volume of the work that they've received, it would be preferable for you to like call them, send them an email, write to them online on social media, and then let them know that, okay, let's take it from an email. Like this, the person is expecting an email from you, so they have their eyes open. When 2 years ago, my uncle and I went into, wow, it was 2 months, because I've didn't know that my uncle, an email, my uncle is my uncle, so he is older, and a lot of those older people use an email. So I sent an email to my uncle thinking that he would see the email right then and there. My uncle didn't see the email until after 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks of me submitting the email. And then they wrote back quickly to me to let me know that, hey, I'm just now looking at your email. I don't use that email. I use my work email, which the email in which I've wrote to my uncle was his personal email. So now when he finally lets me in and he says to me, okay, I am going to do as you say, and I'm going to do this and this and that. But then the ways in which he was trying to, so for him, he is not really understanding the state of the country where I live. And he's not understanding that, uncle, almost everything is blocked out from left to right. So if we're trying to do this, I can't go here, I can't go there. It took us a month and a half for a simple thing that could have been done in a day. Why? Because first, I was not aware that the emails that I was using for my uncle, he doesn't check it. It's not the number one email that he uses. I was not aware of that. Second, as soon as he read the message and he said the message, he started to do as I said, but I did not communicate right then and there with him to let him know that no, actually, even when I'm asking you for that, the methods in which you're trying to go about, it's not going to work for me because right now Haiti is going through a lot. It's important for you to always understand what and how can we work best with each other. How can I support you? How can I do this for you? You got to know what's going on in the back end of how I need the support. Communication is so important, and by the way, I'm so excited because finally I have two workshop development, three that I've added. I could have added more, maybe I'll add more. I've added excellent communication skill as a workshop. And the reason that I've added that, and I love to do this work because the research supports me a lot. I would say that I am a great communicator. I communicate well verbally, but not everybody can communicate well. So I work with many people, and I have to be in the habit of respecting that sometimes I'm going to come across someone who does not communicate in the manners in which that I communicate. That person may be a non-verbal communicator. It doesn't mean that they don't know how to talk, but it may mean that they are not necessarily like verbal communication would be the last form of communication for them. Some people communicate with body language. Some people communicate better in writing. Some people just say silent, but you just gotta feel their energy to know when you fucking with them, when you pissing them off, when they're just like, mm-mm. This is why sometimes we are in work environment and then somebody just exploded and you're like, where did that come from? Well, that came from the first time that you tried to do something with them that they were not okay with, but they had a problem expressing that, verbally expressing that. So they've decided to just kind of like not talk about it, but in their mind they are sitting there replaying scenarios after scenarios, right? So this is why, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. This is why it's important for us to understand the many ways of communication. I had to work on this workshop for a particular client. That client has been giving me the business. Oh my God. Oh my God. Being a mentor, a teacher, an educator, I love to support people, but it also at times it tested me because people are different. We are all different, even in the family members. Everybody is just different. One time my older sister says to me that you want people to reply to you as soon as you write them. That is the truth. Is it a fault? I don't know. I do. I have, because I like to communicate. So for example, when I work with people and they may acknowledge what I say, but if you don't reply to me and you don't let me know that you are acknowledging. So let's say that I'm putting an appointment with my nail tech, and if I'm writing to you and I say to you, I would like an appointment with for this day and that day, if you do not say to me, yes, it's open, and you just show up, but we never concluded, like I don't know, maybe I've been working too much doing these things, like I'm a little bit too rigid. It's not rigid because it's like anything can change. Let's say we have an appointment for Friday, but let's say on Thursday night, I have to confirm with you for Friday. If I don't confirm with you, but I put in the appointment last week, anything can happen. You know, things can change. Maybe you are not available. Maybe you have something that comes up. I don't like to waste my time, and I don't like to waste people's time. This is why I'm like that. So I don't know. Some people say that, no, it's just like, I just really want us. This is how the flow of things are doing well, right? The conversation series, I'm giving it ample time because the guests I'm receiving this seasons, they're top. But a lot of them don't really do social media. So I have to work with them. I have to ease them into the ways in which the series is being conducted. I have to make sure that they have an understanding of the conversation series, what it is, how I'm running it, how I'm doing it, and also support them if for them they don't use social media. Are we here? Okay. Now, to conclude, let's talk about the formatting of your email, ladies and gentlemen. How to write, how to format an email. Let us not forget that I've shared with you that the email that you are writing, it introduces you. I received an email not so long ago, 2 weeks ago. I had run an ad on my consulting. And one of the emails that I received, I was so impressed. And I let the person know that. I said, thank you so much for writing. And thank you so much for writing such a proper email. Because in that email, that person was clear and direct. They let me know exactly who they was, what type of support they needed, how they would need the support, where they reside. It's clear, precise, concise, direct. That's a person that I want to work with. I know what you need. I know what you are looking for. If what I was providing is not for you, I would tell you this and this and that. Are we here? Okay. So now let's read what I said. I say that unless you are sending a simple message to someone you previously engaged with, the formatting of your email should have the right subject line, an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Keep your email as simple, clear, concise as possible. You are trying to captivate and win over that person on your corner. Have the correct punctuations. Punctuations elevates you. It actually showcases that you are educated. It helps to ease out your reader, makes your message smooth. Punctuations also gives a tone to your message. Fun, flirtatious, serious, lighthearted, angered, or matter of fact. Ladies and gentlemen, exactly what we talked about, exactly what I just talked to you about. Let's not forget that you are going to be receiving about 12 articles when you join our mentorship program. When you sign up for a membership, you get access to one monthly article, and you also get access to videos that I'm going to be working with and putting out there for you guys. Everybody wants to be a boss man, a boss lady. Everybody wants to run a business. Everybody wants to go up the ladder. Everybody wants to do this and that, but you don't have the basics. You don't know how to present yourself online. You don't know how to write a proper email. You don't know how to converse with someone. You need the basics. You need to be coached. You need to have a mentor. You need to be a part of a program that is going to support you. The coaching and the mentorship is very, very, very good. It is going to be an excellent investment that you are going to be making for yourself. We are starting March 11th. The registration is open. There is a payment plan only with early registration. Sign up if you feel like you need the support. Sometimes it's the one investment that you make for yourself that sets the tone, sets the bar, and gets you rolling. It's a great investment for yourself. I hope that you enjoy this. I am going to be live on my Daisy Love 83 YouTube account if you want to join me over there. But for today, that's what I had for you. Thank you so much for being here with me, Regina. I love you, girl. And I will see you guys next week. Next week, I am going to be here again, and we are going to be discussing another topic. All right. I hope to look forward for you guys. And I hope that many of you are going to take on the ball and sign up for the mentorship session 2025.